So what is emotions? What is the root cause of emotional challenges? Why people get very emotional? Is being emotional right or wrong? Is it good or bad? How do we really have a balance between healthy emotions? Like Sir said, having emotions is important. Without emotions, you cannot. People say, why are you like a vegetable? Is just there. There's no emotion to that person. Emotion only is life. Emotion only means that the person is alive, right? But the same emotion becomes our challenge, becomes our trap as well. Nowadays, telling jokes also has become very easy because WhatsApp is there. You don't have to do anything. You have to see. Yesterday I got one message. The husband says to the wife, "You're like A, B, C, D, E, F, I, G, H, K," something like that, and says adorable, beautiful, enchanting, charming, all that. And wife is getting all emotional. Oh, such nice things my husband is telling, never before he has said so many things, and he goes on and on, beautiful, enchanting, and all this. And he stops at I. And she asks, what is IJK? He says, I'm just kidding. And her emotion goes down. For many people, emotions have become like, drinking Red Bull. Suddenly you will be on a high, they'll say, Red Bull advertisement I've seen, I am flying with wings, you'll feel like, oh wow, my son has said this, my husband has said this, wife has said this, or my boss has said this in front of everybody. So you feel very emotional. After some time, like Red Bull, you feel like, gone, like a deflated balloon. And somebody says, in your office, your boss has just praised you. You've gone into his cabin and he has praised you. And you're all like fully pumped up. Yes, I am the hero. I am great. I am this, that. And then, somebody comes in and says, ma'am, you parked your car in the totally opposite direction. Don't you have some basic sense like that? You're like totally shaken and you come to ground zero. Just now you thought you're a hero, then you became zero. Emotions are like that. So emotion means energy in motion. Energy is moving. What is that? That is life only. That's only life. Emotion means that's life. But the challenge is, how do we control it? How do we control it? Because people don't have control over their emotions, they are not only hurting other people, they are hurting themselves. They are hurting themselves. It's like when you take action while you are highly emotional, you're going to hurt other people or you're going to hurt yourself. See, it's like drinking water while the car is moving very fast. It's going to get spilled. Correct? So emotion is an energy which is in motion. It's not stable. It's not stable. When it is not stable, you're taking a decision, you're thinking, you're acting. That's going to hurt you and others because it's not stable. So now what is emotion? Why are we not able to control it? Or is there another side in us which is, which is not emotional? How do we tap into that? Right. See, some people you will find in the houses itself, you see, some are very emotional, some are very logical. Some are very emotional, some are very logical. I remember the first time when I went to the US, and so we are so used to emotions, right? Dealing with emotions and people with emotions and all that. I went to America. I landed in snow at that time. It was like, I think November, December of some 2005. Snowing heavily, and I have to be in this hotel. And they didn't give me a badge to get into. I was working as a contractor in General Electric that time through an Indian company. So I stayed in the hotel. After 3 days, I thought I'll go mad because I couldn't see any person at all. I was just seeing out of the window, there was snow, and I had to be in the hotel room. I said, after 3 days, I'm definitely going to go mad because there's no people. We are so used to dealing with people and having emotions, right? Yes. And that's like crazy. And Chandra will relate to it because he's been there. And I remember going to an electronic shop. That time selfie was not there, selfie craze was not there. So I thought I'll buy a camera and then at least take photos of the snow. I went there and for 1 hour I evaluated all the cameras. Nothing else to do, no people to talk. At least in the shop there is some people, so some emotional transaction. For 1 hour I just looked at the cameras and all that, and after that I just went to the billing counter to buy one Canon camera. I swiped my card. It did not work because it's an international card. I said it doesn't work. Sorry, I cannot. I got totally worried because for 1 hour I have engaged this shopkeeper. Now imagine that scenario in India. For 1 hour you made a person, show you things, and he's going to get emotional about it, right? Of course, I don't know about saree shops, how they don't get emotional. The salespeople should be yogis, really, control of their emotions. After 1 hour of showing, still you're okay. And I went to that person and I said, look, I'm really sorry because my card is not working. It's an international card. And I was worried that he's going to shout at me. You know what he said? Oh, is that so? Fine, take it easy, he said. I was like shocked. I was shocked. He said, take it easy, no problem. Just come later. Once it works, just come. I was shocked because it was a shock in cultural difference. Where as a culture we become highly emotionally driven. Once we expose ourselves to cultures which are very logical, very rational, we see the difference. Oh my God, there is another possibility to live, another way to live. But what happens is, the reverse is also wrong. I have seen people who have lived 20 years, 30 years in the Western world and then come to India. Elders are coming. They said, hey mom, hey pop, how are you doing? It's all. You can fall at their feet. You can fall at their feet. Go to the temple. Just do like this, that's it. Why did you do Shashtanga? Why they have said in our culture that you have to, from head to toe, you should be in the ground, at least in front of your God, give up your ego, no? Give up your identity of, I am a big boss, I am this, I am that, I lived in America, give it up. So, culture is molding our personality, and our personality is getting shaped like that. When we are here, we are highly emotional. When we are there, we become highly rational. But is one thing better or one thing right or wrong? It's just two sides of the coin. Just two sides of the note. It is just, two aspects of yourself. Sometimes you're highly emotional, sometimes you're highly logical. That's all. But when to be emotional, when to be logical, this is the discretion that we need. But unfortunately, emotions are hijacking your awareness. They're just hijacking. Before you realize, your emotion comes out, right? When somebody is irritating you or you get angry, are you able to think calmly and sit down and think logically? No, I should have. After that you think, I should not have said that. I should not have spoken like that. I should not have written that mail. After the action, emotion is pushing you towards action. After you take the action, then you feel guilty. I should not have done it. I should not have spoken like this. But before that only, if you knew, like it seems Sachin is, why he is regarded one of the greatest batsmen is, before the ball, as the ball is getting bowled, few seconds he is able to correct his shots. That means he is able to read it much early. So like that, if we are able to read our own emotions much faster, we will not get angry. No? See, challenge is, see, today you are saying that, oh yeah, I don't get angry, that's the thing. But when it comes to your life, when it comes to your family, when it comes to your personal things, suddenly that anger rises. Why is that? Why is the problem there? And before even you realize, your whole rationality is, you're not able to think logically at all. I like these husband and wife jokes because I really, this is practical day-to-day stuff, right? Husband is coming from the office and he says, he's tired and he tells his wife, I just saw the Aarti and came. I just saw Aarti and came. He says like that. Why did you see Aarti? Wife says. She says, I went to the temple and saw Aarti. Wife is saying, that's what I'm asking. In the temple, why did you see Aarti? Husband is saying, in the temple for the God, I saw Harati. You see, why didn't you tell this first itself? Emotion is hijacking rationality. Before even you realize, emotion is taking control because it's energy. See, emotion is triggering the older part of your brain functions, which are called amygdala, back of the brain. Amygdala. That means it's an old brain. See, olden days, see, our makeup is a lot of DNA, right? We have a DNA. That's our core memory is DNA. Our core memory is fight or flight response. If some snake is coming, what will do? You will not think logically. You have to just run away or take a stick and start hitting. There's only two things you know, correct? You have to survive. That means you have to run away. Or if you cannot run away, you have to take a stick and hit. There's only two things. That's a core emotion. Your emotion stands for your survival. You have to survive. That's all it knows. It doesn't know anything else. Emotion has no logic. It stands for your survival. I need to survive. Let me run away. Or let me hit back. The same thing is happening in offices today. Boss comes and gives a lot of work. That too on a Friday evening, you get upset. He could have given it on Monday. He could have given it on at least Friday afternoon. So I finish. Friday evening I had some plans with my friends. Go there, go here. You get upset. And you start shouting, no, why that person has to do, this person has to do that, this. You start, putting the blame on other people and pushing the work on somebody else. Because inside you, your emotion stands for survival. Fight or flight. Either you fight with the situation. Somebody blames you in the office. No, you only did it. Immediately what? You start shouting at them. How the hell can you say I did it? I never did it. I didn't do it. Or flight. This is not at all my responsibility. Why are you blaming me? This is not me. Go away. Either fight or flight. So emotions are coming from the older part of your brain, which is amygdala. There is a newly developed brain. It's a modern brain, which is called the neocortex, which is the thinking brain, thinking aspect of you. Right? Same way we can say that left brain and right brain. Left brain is very logical and right brain is very emotional. So you will see even in kids, you will see some kids are very left brain oriented, like they are Macs and they are very totally studious, and that's a very small percentage of them. Big percentage of them are the other side, which is always playful, gadgets, fun, masti. Suddenly one day they are not in the house, you will feel like something is missing in the house. There's no noise, there's total they are all right brain children. Right now what is happening, why children are so engaged to gadgets? As parents you need to know this very important thing is, why kids are so engaged to gadgets is because, you see in the games, There's creativity, how to win in this game, how to somehow hide from this thing, all this is there. Creativity is there. Sounds are there. Music, lights, colors, all this is right brain functionality. Then there is logic also. That means when to move, how to calculate how many enemies are there, when to fire or when to escape. All this is logical thinking, left brain. Which key to press, which one, everything is logic.
How to react and respond.
All that is logic. Now what is happening is, it engages both sides of the brain. When left and right are engaged, you go into a sort of a yoga. Because you are in oneness. You feel like, your whole brain is getting utilized. So there is no part of you that is not involved. When most of you is involved in that, you feel you forget everything. You're forgetting everything. So that's what is happening with the kids. It's very dangerous, sad situation that kids are getting into this pseudo world. They're getting into the pseudo world. It's not the real world, but they're getting into an imaginary world which they think is real. And their emotions are getting hijacked. See, our emotions are very basic thing about our survival. Now, when somebody hijacks your emotion, you will do anything, because your basic life itself has been taken away. That means it's been dragged into that. Your emotion, that's what we say, we are emotionally attached. We become emotionally attached. We become emotionally attached to a people, we become emotionally attached to games, we become emotionally attached to certain activities which is giving pleasure, which is giving happiness. Because we believe that is giving happiness, we are emotionally attached. So you saw like how there are two sides, logic and emotion. Emotion and logic. But how do we control these emotions? How do we control? Because it is running out of control. See, something that is happening outside on the street, you are not able to control. That's fine. That's okay. You don't have control over it. We cannot. Can we control the traffic? Can we control the pollution? We cannot. But something happening inside us only, we are not able to control. That means we are not understanding our own system properly. Suddenly you are getting depressed, suddenly you are getting angry, suddenly you are getting worried, suddenly you are getting fear. These are all emotions. These are all emotions. But these are happening without you being able to control or understand. See, once you understand, you will control. Currently you don't know why that is happening. When somebody says something negative about you, or when somebody is not saying something positive about you, the lady is dressed well for the function. Classic example in my own house. Yesterday she was some Friday puja, she was dressed with nice, sari. She came in, I was there busy, on the microwave, going to office, heating up something, trying to get out of the house quickly. She comes and says, how is this sari? How do I look? I just gave one glance and said, yeah, good. She said, you didn't even see, and then you are saying I am looking good. So if you don't say something which needs to be said, people get emotional. If you say something which is not to be said, people get emotional. So that means something is happening inside your system which you don't understand. It's getting into misalignment. If you depend on external situations and external people to make you feel good, life is like a roller coaster. Because people come, switch off, switch on, switch off, switch off, because switch is outside. But actual switch is inside. Actual switch is inside. Our emotions, we should only be able to control. No, why should other person have the switch? It's like a remote control. Somebody taking your emotions and playing with this. In the offices we'll say, if a boss is especially very emotional, we'll say, hey, see, today I'm going to say something. Just watch the boss's reaction. He'll react like immediately. And suppose you go today and then tell the boss, evening he has given some work. But these guys want to go to IPL match, So they go and say, boss, actually some issue in my house, I have to urgently grow. Immediately boss gets angry. No, this client, this thing is that, whatever. Then the boys come out. But the boss, after getting emotional, he'll forget the thing. And he will say, okay, ask that guy to do it, but he forgets the real issue. Then the boys come out and say, chalo yaar, come now, let's go to IPL match. Happily they are going. Because they know how to play with the emotions of people. Today, children are becoming so intelligent. They know how to play with the emotions of parents. They are very intelligent. Don't think they are any less intelligent. They are so intelligent. They know if they say something, parents will get emotional. Once they get emotional, they'll give in to it. Because your emotion will lack rationality. In our itihasas, in our ancient times, the story of Mahabharata is a very clear example. When Duryodhana was doing all the mistakes, all the challenges, all the issues he was creating for people, he called a lady and he disrespected her right in front of the entire palace. But Dhritarashtra was quiet because he was emotionally attached. Because he was emotionally attached, he saw only one side of the coin. He didn't see the other side of the coin, which is rationality, which is logical thinking. You have both sides inside you. But your logic will not come up at all because your emotions are so high. Your emotions have become so high that you feel that is only correct. No, that's only correct. That's only the wrong. That's only mistake. That is only issue because you are seeing only one side. In the same Mahabharata, Yudhishthira, with all his dharmic qualities, with all his dharma chintana, he still kept his entire kingdom, his wife and brothers, everybody, he kept it in the gambling, this thing, because he was emotionally driven. Why they say you should not gamble? Because it will make you emotion. You are losing something, you become emotional. Okay, to gain that you lose more, to gain that you lose more, to gain that you lose more. So your emotion is blinding your rationality. That's why they say you become emotionally blind. Why do they say love is blind? Love is a huge emotion. It will blind you because you cannot see anything else. In the days of courtship, what will say? Even if you are angry, you look so beautiful, we'll say. Correct? After marriage, even if you smile, I think you're smiling at my mother. Thinking of my mother only, you're smiling, right? Somebody asked me yesterday, there is mother-in-law, there is brother becomes brother-in-law, mother becomes mother-in-law, daughter becomes daughter-in-law, and sister becomes sister-in-law, all that. But wife is the law. So, just kidding. Now, let's go slowly towards the Sat part of emotions. We'll pause in between for some time for further questions, but let's slowly get into the Sat aspect of emotions. Any questions? Let me just pause.